Hello and welcome to Early Years TV with me, Kathy Brodie. Today is all about respecting children's play and the 4 stages of play. And I'm just delighted to be joined today by Prerna Richards. Prerna has 38 years experience in the field of early childhood education. Her education philosophy is grounded on play-based learning with an emphasis on social emotional development. And Prerna is a recipient of the Susan Hargrave Trainer of the Year Award 2020. That is huge. Congratulations on that. And is a registered master trainer with the Texas State Early Childhood Trainer Registry. Prerna started her consultancy, Together We Grow, to give educators and caregivers the resources they need to create responsive and joyful classrooms. How fabulous. She's also a keynote speaker, behaviour coach, and NAEYC consultant, and has given many presentations impacting on the practice of thousands of educators annually. A very, very warm welcome to Early Years TV, Prerna Richards.
Thank you, Kathy. It's absolutely a delight to join you and a privilege to be on your TV. Thank you so much.
Oh, you are very, very welcome. And all the way from Texas. I'm so excited about this subject today because I've had a look at your website, which is beautiful. And I've had a little read with lots and lots of all the things you've got on there. So I know we're in for some great stuff today. But let's start at the other end of the spectrum today, shall we? There's lots of challenges at the moment in classrooms. The world is a different place than maybe it was 3 or 4 years ago. What sort of challenges are you seeing in classrooms at the moment?
I think the biggest challenge that I'm seeing is increased challenging behaviors and stress in the classroom. But I have realized that we have to change this word challenging behavior to start the conversation with, because it's the grown-up that's getting challenged is why it becomes challenging. So really, I'm seeing an increase in the stress. I'm seeing an increase in the reactive behaviors from the grown-ups, many, many explosive behaviors from the children. And together, the explosive behavior of the children and the reactive reactions of the grown-ups is adding this extra layer of impatient, reactive, frustrated, irritated emotions bubbling up. And it seems to be increasing as the stress increases. It seems to be increasing. But I really think the heart of this is because there isn't a generic challenging behaviors. We use this word so frequently, challenging behaviors, but there isn't one that you would say, okay, that's the definition of challenging behavior. Because every grown-up gets challenged by different behaviors, so it becomes challenging to me individually because I'm challenged by it. So yes, that's what I'm seeing right now. And it's in a way sad because it's wasted learning time and wasted importance of the early years. Like, these early years are so critical and they're being wasted.
Yeah. Oh, that is so true. I mean, you've talked there about reactive behaviour from the educators. Well, give us an example. What sort of reactive behaviour are you thinking of there?
Okay, so the best way to do this would be a classroom that I was in this week. That's as far as my memory goes. What was I doing? It's too hard to keep it all in. So not this week because today's only Tuesday. So last week I was at a school observing in person. And when I walked into this classroom, it was so noisy. It was so incredibly noisy. The teachers were talking over the kids were talking over the teachers, and it was just chaotic. And the teacher was trying to get them to the carpet to start the story time. Nobody was coming. She kept telling them, get to the carpet, go to the carpet. So her voice was increasing. She was trying to control them with her voice. But they were ignoring her. They had just tuned her out because, she does this all day or they do this all day. And so the noise level was up here. And to give you a visual, what it felt like, I felt like I had reached the west, and the kids had become the sheriffs in town. They were running the show and the teachers had given up control. And so they were trying to control with their voices, which was wasted time. So they were very reactive. They were very impatient. They were yelling, not yelling in a mean way, but yelling out of frustration. And so the kids, there was 5 of them. There was 22 total preschoolers in this classroom, and 5 of them were the sheriffs in town. And they had realized to get their needs met, they would just shriek They would just scream on top of their lungs to get their needs met, or they would cry, or they would just have this really blood curdling scream. And it would just be like, oh my God, what happened to you? And they just they didn't get what they wanted, or they throw themselves on the floor. Like, it was chaos. It was chaos. And so the way the teachers were reacting, one of them I mentioned to you, she was using voice to control the kids. The second one created kind of an bubble for herself. So as she just started reading the book, and there was only 5 of them, the rest are walking, rolling on the carpet, moving around, bothering people. She didn't care about them. There was the 4 that came to her. She started reading to them. And the visual that I had in my head was, oh my God, she's become a submarine. She's just gone underwater. She's just gone underwater, and I'm just going to deal with this. And so she just tuned everybody else out. So that was her coping strategy. I'll just do this. I'll become a submarine. And the other one's coping strategy was, I'll scream louder. And if they won't hear me, I'll try to control them with the voice. And so if you can imagine a chaotic, noisy classroom that was like a million times higher than it should be. And in that moment, I was thinking, this teacher who's become a submarine needs to become a periscope. She needs to come above, and she needs to scan the room and engage with the kids. She has disengaged. She needs to engage with the kids. And the one who's trying to control with the voice needs to recognize that you're role modeling, that this is how we communicate with each other. It doesn't work like that, right? You got to connect with the kids. You got to meet them where they're at. And you got to take control of the classroom. You have been given the title of a teacher. You're officially the sheriff. I was telling them this during debrief. I'm like, maybe I give you a badge of sheriff, so maybe you'll own your own like authority back. Not in a mean way, but you got to gain control. You cannot just give up. This is no learning can happen in chaos. No learning can happen. And I literally found myself doing this because I was getting triggered. I was finding myself getting triggered that this is exhausting. I'm worn out. I can't. And I can't imagine how the children are doing in such overstimulated environments. Their nervous system is short. So yeah, I hope that gives a visual of how the kids are behaving and how the grown-ups are reacting, and it's just not working.
Yeah. I think every viewer today would be able to relate to that. We've all been in classrooms or been in situations where we've looked around and gone, what is going on? And it is noisy, chaotic. And yeah, absolutely. And I love those visuals. I love the idea of being a sheriff in town. I think that's a great visual. And the submarine, actually, to be honest, I think that's really nice explanation. So, I mean, you've touched on it slightly there, but what happens if those sorts of things are left unchallenged, that they just carry on? What happens to the children's learning in those circumstances?
Such a good question, right, Kathy? So I want to remind everyone the importance of the early years, right? Why do the early years matter? Birth to 5, research is telling us 90% of the brain development is happening. Okay, that's huge. What does that even mean, right? We hear research every minute, but what does it exactly mean? It means that you're learning life skills. This is your foundation for the rest of your life. So let's talk about some life skills that are missed opportunities, right? Problem solving, negotiation, collaboration, empathy, compassion, understanding, perspective taking. I could go on, right? Those are missed opportunities when there's chaos in the classroom. You can't learn. I'm not even talking about cognitive learning of letters, numbers, shapes. I'm not worried about that. It's the social emotional piece that I'm worried about, that if we don't give them a strong foundation, they're going to go through life with missed opportunities. And if we don't redirect this, we have to bring this back. And I literally was telling the teachers during the debrief, because when I do an observation, I do a debrief afterwards. And I was telling the teachers, I said, this feels like the Titanic and you're headed for the iceberg. We have got to turn the ship around. We are in October right now. If we don't do something now, already the children have learned how to get their needs met. They have learned that shrieking like a banshee is what's going to get them met. And I noticed that several of them would just scream at the high pitch and they would fall on the floor, they would cry. But the minute they get something, they're able to just be fine. You see, but what skills are we teaching? This is what they've learned. So to your point, if we don't do something And I really feel like early childhood is in a critical place right now. We have got to do something better and take advantage of these years so that we can set them up for success. You know, the children under 5 right now, in 20 years, will be running the world.
Yeah.
I don't know about you, but that makes me anxious that they don't have life skills. And when are they going to learn it? And they learn through play. They learn through natural surroundings. It's not a drill and kill. We need opportunities to learn these skills. Children need to be heard. Children need to be understood. They need to be respected. But then they can respect the grown-ups. Like, maybe I'm old school, but respect is important. But respect is a living word. What does it sound like, feel like, look like?
Yeah, most definitely. So just following your example through there. So you've come in and you've seen this chaotic classroom. You've had a debrief with the teachers. So what advice did you, if you wouldn't mind sharing with us, what advice did you give to them? How can you then resolve some of those issues that you clearly saw in the classroom?
Okay, so let me think back to some of the advice I gave them, because I gave them quite a few things. But I think the main thing that I suggested to them was, I didn't see that there was a connection between them and the children. And they have to connect with the children. So one of the phrases that I shared with them was, connect before you correct. Connect before you correct. What I heard a lot was correcting behavior. Stop rolling on the carpet. Don't run around. Did you listen to me? Come back, sit down, move there, go there, do this. Da, 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 da. Those are all corrections. Children don't respond to corrections. And it literally felt like they were on 2 different planets. The children had disengaged from the teachers, and the teachers had disengaged with the children. Connect with them. And one of the ways to connect is ask before you tell. So the easy way is, if you see a behavior happening, ask, what happened? I heard you screaming. What's going on? Why are you screaming? They will tell you why they're screaming, and then you could tell them what they could say and do. So, connection before correction was the first strategy I gave them. The ask and tell was the way to do it. Quite often I heard the teacher saying, use your big girl's voice, don't whine, use your big boy's voice. That is too vague. That is too vague. They don't have the words in the moment. So give them the words. That was strategy number 2. If you hear them screeching, go up to them, which is what's not happening. They were just not going up to them. They were just ignoring them. Or they would go up and say, you give it to them and we have to share. You're jumping to correcting. You're not jumping to understanding. So, giving them the words. Okay, let's try that again. I hear a whining sound. Let's try that again in a normal voice. And let's see, what would you like? Now, what was that about? And while I was in there, I ended up role modeling, and I was kind of saying this to the children. Okay, try that again. I didn't quite hear you. So instead of saying, use your big voice, ask them to reframe it. Say, I need help. I so-and-so is not sharing. I don't want to share. I need space. I want to play alone. Instead of saying, use your big voice, give them the words you want them to use. So that's strategy number 2. And the third one was, we are teaching to the head. We need to teach to the heart. So there was a lot of emphasis on repeating the colors and the numbers, and the kids were just bored. But if you teach to the heart, you're going to sit on the floor. That was the other thing I noticed. The teacher was sitting on the chair, and these 4 kids that were near her while she was reading, but the rest of them were just doing whatever. And my suggestion to her was, sit on the carpet with them if your body physically allows you to. If your body physically doesn't allow you to, then I understand you need a chair, get that. But she looked like she was able-bodied. She was in her 20s. She could sit on the floor with the kids. Why is that important? Because you're connecting on an even, equal ground. We're all equals in this. I'm not the sage on the stage. We're connecting as equals. My eyes can see you. Your eyes can see me. Let's have a heart connection. Let's look at each other as humans, and let's create the space of, instead of a morning circle routine, which we do by default, because that's what this was supposed to be, a morning circle routine. It turned into a hot mess. But the morning circle, instead of it being a routine, maybe it becomes a ritual. When you have a ritual, you have intent, there's a heart connection there, right? So what do I want to do with the time that I have with these children? These 10, 15 minutes are precious. I'm not the sage on the stage. I want to get to know them. I want them to get to know me. There's mirror neurons acting up. I mean, there's so much happening in this space, right? We feed off of each other's energies. It's just, I think when children feel seen and heard and understood and unconditional love, when they feel this, then there's a connection. Then we can teach. Then we can learn. Just because we're the grown-up doesn't mean that we have all the information. But I think we're jumping to content. We want them to know this, but we're missing this piece. And, first we need to teach to the heart. Then we can teach to the head. First we have to understand. Then we can redirect. So connect before correction. So those were some of the strategies I shared with them. The last one, the strategy that I shared with them was KLFF. So I've come up with this acronym, KLFF. Mm-hmm. I strongly believe that children understand and feel kindness. When we are kind to them, they can respond. When we are loving to them, they can respond. But we also have to be firm. So KLFF, kind, loving, firm, and fair. We have to be firm. So I think what I see in the classrooms is teachers are being kind and loving, but then they let the kids walk all over them and they become doormats. Children can't learn like that. They need grown-ups to guide them. So you have to be firm. What does that mean? Your words should mean something. When you say something, you need to follow through. There was an incident where this little child had brought a lovey to the carpet and the teacher said, you can't have it. You need to put it away. But she didn't. But there was no follow through. There was nothing. So you say something, you don't follow through. So that's the firmness. Your words should mean something. And then fairness. It's so important. Children feel if you're fair or not, and they will dismiss you if you're not fair. So-and-so got away with it. So-and-so didn't get away with it. So-and-so I followed through with. So-and-so I didn't follow through with. I say it's cleanup time, but then it really is not cleanup time because I'm doing all the cleanup and then two friends are helping and the rest, the message you're giving is, I can ignore you. The message you're giving is, I don't need to listen to you.
Yeah. Oh, I love that acronym. I've not seen that before. That is such a great acronym.
I created it. Thank you. I did create it.
Very, totally unique and makes total sense. Absolutely. And again, I can relate to all those circumstances where, as a stressed educator, sometimes you follow through and sometimes you don't. And afterwards you get home, you think, did I actually do that or did I not? So I can totally relate to that. And just having that acronym in your mind just reminds you, doesn't it? And of course, I know the other thing that you talk about on your beautiful website is the respectful play. And one of the things you say on there is about respectful play, guiding play, not hijacking it. I love, and again, I've seen play being hijacked and the children just wander off so just take us through that. What do you mean by respectful play?
Thank you for asking. I am absolutely passionate about this. I really feel like we need to start respecting children and we need to start respecting play. Play is not busy work. Play is absolutely how they're making sense of the world. So this is what I mean by hijacking. And this happens quite often in the dramatic area. So I don't know what you call it in the UK, but in America, we call it the dramatic dress-up area where the house section is in the classroom. So this is classic. I don't know what it is about the dramatic play that grown-ups just feel the need to hijack. So I'll give you an example of how I've seen this happen. So I saw these two girls go to the dramatic area and they had got deep into play and they were passing out things and they'd put on the chef hat and the apron was on and this and that. And they were deep in play. And then along comes this teacher. I'll just call her Miss Alicia for right now. Along comes Miss Alicia. She sits down and she says, and so what are you guys cooking for me? And I look at the children's faces and they're looking at each other and they're looking at the teacher. She wasn't even on their radar. She wasn't even on their attention. They weren't cooking nothing for her, right? She just hijacked play completely, right? So I've seen it happen time and time again. What are you cooking for me? What did you make for me? Wait for the invitation. So instead of hijacking play and making it about you, the respectful thing would be, if you wanted to go join the dramatic area, just go sit down, just slow down, just observe. And if they invite you into play, they will invite you. And before you know it, you'll have all kinds of plate food given to you to enjoy and eat. Wait for the invitation. That's respecting them. And if they don't invite you, don't take it personally. Go find another group of kids and observe them and join them. But, one part is hijacking, where the grown-up makes it about them and they just completely derail the children's play and take it into a different direction. Or I'm the patient, and what are you going to do for me? And what are you going to... It's not about you. It is not about you. So that's hijacking. But the other thing I see, which is interrupting play, that happens where grown-ups, and I say grown-ups because parents do it, educators do it. I think it's a grown-up thing. It's a grown-up brain where we're just not recognizing that what the children are doing, they have a plan, and we should trust their plan, and let's just get out of it. The way I've seen interrupting play happen is they pepper them with questions. What color is this? What shape is this? How many is it? Oh, stop. Just stop. That is not play. That is not fun. And you're taking all the joy out of it by making it about a test. And who cares what color it is? I even had a child the other day say to the teacher, stop asking me the color of the banana.
Yeah. I have to admit at this point that I've been guilty of that. I have done that.
I have too, Kathy. So, we live and we learn, and when we know better, we do better. I am now very self-conscious. I have 4 grandchildren now, and my goal when I'm with the grandchildren is just, Prerna, don't interrupt, don't interject, and don't hijack. Prerna, just be present, just be present. Just shh. Like, I have to tell my brain to do this, because by default, I would be in there asking them something, or taking over, or redirecting, or controlling, or whatever these words are, right? I want them to lead the play. I want them to show me their thinking. I want them to show me where they're going with this. And I just want to follow them along. Try that. It'll be so joyful, and your hours will go by. And you see, the anecdote of stress is joy. But I don't know, Kathy, if you know this or not, but joy is the emotion of learning. When there's joy, there's learning. Like, literally in our body, when we feel joy, we are excited to learn. It's the emotion of learning. But the opposite of that is stress. And we know that stress and joy can't be in the same time in your brain. You can be stressed and joyful at the same time. It doesn't happen. Being with children, being fully present with children, enjoying their authentic play, allowing them to lead the play, is the perfect opportunity to experience joy. Just release all responsibilities for teaching them. Just allow yourself to be soaked into play, and you will realize that stress will disappear, because you'll have a joyful moment with the child. Play is so powerful, and I think we are forgetting the magic of play. I think we're making it too clinical. We're making it too mental. We're making it too, I have to ask you this, because every time I tell teachers, stop hijacking, their response is, but Prerna, they want us to talk to the kids and they want us to interact with the kids. And I said, yes, great, but respect them first. Just observe, be present, just respect them, and they will lead you into it. And then you could follow their play, and you follow their lead, you can follow their questions, but you don't have to make it about you.
Yeah, I do think that's very interesting that you've touched on. It's something you've got to think about as an educator or as an adult. You've actually got to think about it. It's not a matter of case of just standing back and letting them get on with it. It is actually an action that you have got to take. But you can still observe, even if you're not actually as part of the play. You can still observe, and you can still. And in fact, I sometimes think that when you're making observations like that, you actually learn a lot more about how the children are thinking, because it's coming out naturally. It's not coming out in our adult framework, it's coming out in a child framework. But how very interesting that you actually have to do that yourself. As you said, even as a grandparent, you're having to do it as well. So it is something that we've got to work on, maybe, isn't it? So, I mean, what other sort of advice would you give for educators then in order to have that joyful classroom? And by the way, a joyful classroom, who wouldn't want a joyful classroom? How fabulous.
That is my goal. That has become my life mission right now, transforming one classroom from stress to joy, stress to joy. There's little things that you can do to bring more joy in your classroom. One, I would lean into the power of play, because making it playful makes it more fun. So, for example, there's several things I teach as strategies. One of the things is a magic lotion. So a magic lotion, magic lotion is so fun, right? Get a bottle, put some oil in it, put some food color in it, put some glitter in it, put a masking tape on top, tape it, and let the kids know that your classroom has a magic lotion in it. And if your body is out of control, you could put some magic lotion on, and they could borrow the magic lotion bottle from you to control their wiggles and tiggles, right? It's playful, it's fun, it's imaginative, right? Leaning into the power of play, maybe have a puppet, maybe have a classroom puppet, maybe have a classroom wand, have some magical aspects to your classroom. Breathe like a fairy, breathe like a dinosaur. If you feel like the energy is way up high, blow out all the fire that you have inside you. If cleanup time is happening, lean into it with play. Right, have a competition between boys and girls, or I spy, or put on your crazy spy glasses. Leaning into leaning into the power of play instead of making it I said so and do it now. So children will be less resistant if it sounds like fun. I've even recommended some teachers, because I hear them calling them for small group and saying, come over here and do some work with me. Come over here. I need to do some work with you. Work sounds so boring. I don't even want to work.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to work. So change the vocabulary. Come play with me. I have a new game today. I can't wait to have fun with you. You want to play with me? Like, come on, let's have some fun, right? The vocabulary matters. The mindset matters. The approach matters. I think the other thing that we also have to recognize and remind our grown-up brain is that we don't have all the knowledge. We're not just going to pour it into them. It's a different mindset than saying, we are a school family. If there's 15 of you and one of me, I'm already outnumbered. There's 15 of them and there's only one of me. I'm already outnumbered. We need to make this a family. We need to have this a family approach. We're in this together. And share very, very openly, be authentic with your mistakes and your faults. I haven't mastered this yet too. I'm struggling with this. Sometimes I hear teachers saying words like, I like the way my friends are sitting at the carpet. I love the way my friends are listening. But when I think about that, it comes across as conditional love to me.
Yeah.
So it's condition-based. I like and love you when you listen to me. I like and love you when you follow my directions. How about showing them unconditional love by saying, I noticed you came to the carpet when I called you. Thank you. I appreciate you. I noticed that you were following instructions. How kind of you, right? So instead of saying I like and I love, let's flip it to I notice, I see, I hear, because then now it's not condition based on your performance. I'm loving you regardless, but I am appreciating what you're doing.
Yeah. Oh, I think that is great advice. I mean, as an adult, that feels so much nicer, doesn't it? Not that I like you because you can provide this for me or you can show this sort of behavior, but I love you unconditionally. And thank you very much for doing this service. I just think that's a fabulous piece of advice. Absolutely fantastic. Let me just take you on to something that, I mean, we've talked about play there generically. So there's lots of different sorts of play. And of course, the other people who are in partnership with us, and we talk about a family. When you're talking about a family, of course, our parents and other caregivers, and that might be grandparents as well, or other people that are involved with children. And I know as early as educators, we can sometimes fall foul of using language which maybe isn't so easy for parents to understand. So how would you describe to parents play and maybe different stages of play? How would you describe that to them?
Yeah, so I think if we watch play or if we just observe play, and we allow play to take its natural course, we might see 4 distinct stages bubbling up. So the first stage is like the survey. The children are just scanning the room. They're not sure which game to get engaged in or what play to get started with. So they're kind of just scanning the room. And the language you might hear some of the children saying at this time, I'm bored. I'm so bored. I don't have anything to play with. So they're surveying, right? But their brain hasn't engaged yet. So that's the child's role where they are just, I'm bored. The educators or the parent or the grown-up's role could be like an old car salesperson. Do you know how the old car salesperson does? They just suck you in, right? They try and sell you a car that you didn't even know you wanted. They just suck you in. So you have to become the old car salesperson. So you have to kind of make it enticing. So, maybe it's a puzzle that you've put away. Maybe it's a puzzle you're bringing off the shelf and you just be like, my God, I have a new thing for you. You haven't even tried it. Come on over here. You love it. Let's try it. You want to try it? Like, you got to get them excited. That's the survey stage, right? To get them sucked in. That's stage number 1. The second one is where they're showing an interest and they're starting to get into it. So I'm going to stick with the analogy of the puzzle because it just is easier to just stick with one thing, right? So first, I've done the car salesperson. I've got you interested in this puzzle, which you may not have picked up because it looked overwhelming or whatever. I've got you interested in it and you started working on it. But now the grown-up's role is to facilitate it. So not just ask a bunch of questions, but facilitate their interest to go deeper. So maybe I'm scaffolding. Scaffolding means I'm helping you where you're at, but helping you with the pieces that you're struggling with, right? So if you're starting to build with the puzzle, and this literally was happening with my 3-year-old grandson the other day, he started the puzzle, but I could see a little bit of frustration coming in because he wasn't finding the pieces fast enough. So the role that I have when he's interested is to just prompt him with, oh, maybe we should look for the corners. Now he's engaged again. Now he's looking for the corners. I'm not doing it for him, but I can see an interest, but I go support the interest a little bit more, right? And then the next one is he's now fully engaged and he is having fun with it. I'm not going to pepper him with questions. I don't want to interject. I don't want to hijack because he's fully engaged. When he's fully engaged, I observe and I pull myself back because he's on a path, right? So we've gone to stage 3 now. And then the fourth one is he's absolutely created the puzzle. And now we are celebrating his accomplishment without making it about, so in this stage, whether it's a creation of art or creation of puzzle, the feedback that you give, I call it PDA, positive descriptive acknowledgement. So the feedback you're giving is describing, I noticed that you were able to complete the entire puzzle. I saw that you found all the pieces to match. And what do you see? So I'm not giving a judgment that I love it, I like it, way to go, give high five, blah, blah, blah. I'm giving you positive descriptive acknowledgement by recognizing your effort. Why? Because this is a life skill. I want you to be internally motivated because you do something because you love doing, not because of the validation that you're getting. Because I'm also noticing that we're raising validation junkie children. Children want to be validated. Do you like it? Do you like it? Do you love it? Give me a sticker, high five. Give me the joy of creating is the joy of creating. It's not because of the sticker or the stamp. So redirecting it back to his attention. And he was like, I did that. I know. I said, I know. And I noticed you're very proud of it. Yeah, you should be proud of it. That's an emotion, right? So I'm labeling emotions. I'm being present with him, but I'm following his lead. So I think the biggest advice or the biggest tip or the biggest whatever suggestion I can give is follow their lead, support them where they're at, just try not to hijack it and try not to just give it labels for the superficial things, right? The sense of accomplishment that a child gets when they accomplish something is what you want to focus on. How does that make you feel? You did that on your own and you were doing it for 10 minutes. Look at you. Now he didn't even know he was doing it for 10 minutes. I brought his attention to something that he was doing it for 10 minutes. How does that make you feel? And he kept saying, but do you like it? And I said, yeah. What about you? Do you like it? Do you like what you did? But he would not let me go. He said, but do you like it? I'm like, I kept trying to bring it back to, I noticed that you finished it, and I'm proud of you for doing it. And I'm proud of you for being proud for doing it. Right. But I don't want to make it about me. I want to make it about you.
Yeah. And I absolutely agree with the point you've made there about we're raising sort of like junkies, because I think social media has a lot to do with this, that there's lots of people out there not necessarily doing things that are great, but just for the likes, as they say. So, and I do think maybe we are doing that with the younger children as well. But wow, what a great example. I just think that is very, very powerful. You paint some beautiful visual images with your stories, Prerna. I just love it. Just yeah, really, I can really envisage what you're talking about, and the ideas that you're getting across there. And of course, I also know that you've got loads more ideas on your website, and there's loads of I've already downloaded the free ebook. There's an ebook, there's free downloads. Right. Tell me all about what you have on your website and what people can find when they go there.
Thank you so much. So the website is togetherwegrow.online. And there's a tab for free downloads, and they truly are free. You're not going to be asked to pay anything. They're just free. There's many free resources there. There's a blog section there that I've written some blogs that has, I'm only just started in blogs. I haven't done too many. So just dabbling in a little bit now. There's a YouTube channel there. So subscribe to that. I'm on Instagram and Facebook, Together We Grow, and I'm also posting current research on my social media. So follow me there. There is courses, but again, it's not such a wide range, because this is all just happening as it's happening. The other thing you'll see on the website is membership. Recently, I've just launched a membership for behavior coaching for schools. So the entire nursery, the entire childcare center, the entire school can benefit for it. And the way it works is we meet weekly, and I have a window of 2 hours. And the teachers from those schools that have joined the membership come on, and it's on a Zoom call. They come on and they share their challenge. So they share about a specific child, talk about a specific time of the day, whatever is challenging them. And then we brainstorm together. Usually those sessions are really me trying to get an understanding of what was happening before, during, and after, so that we can understand what the role of the grown-up was, how could we support the child. And then they get homework with 2 or 3 strategies. And the idea being that you will try them out before the next coaching, so that you can come and tell me, I did this and this is what we saw. Recognizing that all children are different, recognizing that all grown-ups are different, we have to tweak as we go. And so it's meeting them where they're at. And I'm really proud of this work, because it's making a difference in the classrooms, and we've had 100% success so far. We've transformed teachers' teaching strategies. We've transformed the way they're looking at children. We are creating deeper connections. And they're not just on the surface. So I've had teachers say to me that I have become a different person as a parent and as a teacher, because I'm changing from inside out. There's an introspective piece, there's a reflective piece, there's a journal piece that they have to write their journals in it. What did they change? What are they noticing about themselves? Teaching is the most, it's an honored profession. Yeah. You have an opportunity to touch hearts and minds and lay the foundation for the rest of their life. It's an honor and a privilege to have that chance of an opportunity to influence a young brain. And so if we can refine our teaching strategies, I haven't arrived yet. There's a lot I haven't learned. There's a lot I need to learn. And it's a journey, right? Yeah. It's not a destination, it's a journey. And so, yeah, the membership is happening. It's going really well, and it's so rewarding, and it's so meaningful to help make a difference and be of service.
Yeah, yeah. And of course, as you said there, that is proper coaching. That is live. It's a 2-hour slot. And it isn't just a training course that, you know, people can go on one day and then they've gone back to the setting and the next day everything's forgotten. You're much more likely to retain that information when you're coached and mentored and hearing other people. I always think that you can learn from other people as well and just sort of say, oh, well, I tried it. I tweaked it in that way. It's so valuable.
You know, you're right. So sometimes teachers will join and they'll just put in the chat, just listening today, and they'll put in the chat, oh my God, I'm learning so much from somebody else. So peer learning happens too. It's not just always, you know, about me. I can also peer learn osmosis, but you know, it resonates, right? Behaviors resonate. Our reactions resonate.
Yeah, most definitely. Most definitely. It's always nice to hear somebody that said that I was in that position, you know, 6 months ago, but this is where I am now in real life. I just think that's great. And I will make sure that there is a link in the words that go along with the video directly, both to your membership and your website. And I would urge anybody to go along, download that free book. It says loads of free things. You just click on it and they download just instantly, which is just brilliant. And I love the blogs as well. Loads more to read about the 4 stages of play on there. And you might want to share that with parents as well, because it's written in such a clear way. I just think it's great. So many congratulations on that website, Prerna. I love it. And thank you so much for coming on to Early Years TV today and sharing just a small slice of your expertise with everybody. Thank you very much indeed, Prerna Richards.
Thank you, Kathy, for this opportunity. It was an honor to join you and such a joy that we are now connected. I'm so excited about this.
Oh, absolutely. Could not agree more. Well, thank you very, very much indeed. And I look forward to welcoming everybody to the next session on Early Years TV.